Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Premier Sim Gaming Leagues. For one that they all want to win, one of their classics on the F1 calendar. It is time for the Monaco Grand Prix here in PC F2. My name is Luke Etheridge. Alongside me is Chris Buxton, ready for possibly the most important 18-minute qualifying session of the season.
I don't think there's really any question about that one. Absolutely. It is the streets of Monte Carlo that we head to for round number 5 of what's proven to be a very, very close season. Those keeping an eye on the social medias will know Ika Baena in the house has taken the top spot from Will Lewis. Not by much, only 4-point gap there. And then another 9 back to Ismail Farsi, who really was on, could have done well at Canada, but his podium streak came to an abrupt end last time out. So who is going to reign supreme around Monte Carlo? We had a bit of a slow burner last week, and then we had a huge crescendo. This is going to be a very, I think the polite way of saying it's tactical race. I don't hide the fact that I'm not a great fan of Monaco as a real-life racing circuit, but like a number of circuits in real life, the sim racing version tends to throw up quite a few surprises. And of course, the weather, we don't know what that's doing yet. That could still throw up an interesting surprise.
Yeah, certainly could. If we get wet weather around Monaco, who knows what carnage we're going to get. But those are the championship standings on your screen then. Like Chris said, Ika Baena on top at the moment by only 4 points. He is going to have his work cut out tonight, though. And the reason for that is he has a qualifying ban. So that is going to be quite tough for him to recover, certainly at this circuit. Will Lewis, he's absolutely fine. We have also got qualifying bans, though, for Jack West, who has a qualifying ban and also a 10-second time penalty to serve in this race. And Harvey Cohen, a reserve driver, he's got a qualifying ban from a few weeks ago as well. So that is going to make things exceptionally tough for them. I mean, it was carnage last time out. You can see the driver's standings there. We'll quickly have a quick look at the Constructors' Championship standings. Haas dominating that at the moment, and Alpine yet to get off the mark. But Chris, I think it was something like 11 or 12 drivers picking up penalties or warnings last time out in Canada. Everyone might have seen on the PSGL YouTube page, even if they didn't watch the race, the clip of the safety car restart, which ended up with 6 or 7 drivers picking up warnings for that one. It was quite a crazy race, and you've got to assume, therefore, that if we get a safety car tonight at Monaco, we could see similar scenes. I think everyone has been warned a bit.
Yeah, absolutely so. And driving standards have to be of the utmost quality. You can't run wide. You can't cut. The chicane is the only place you can actually cut. Okay, you can argue on the exit of the Virage Louis Chiron. Yeah, that chicane's area used to be called the swimming pool. There is a chicane you can cut there. You wouldn't want to. Your car is sent sky high if you do it. Is it possible? Sure. But because there's nowhere to run wide, everyone has to be on their best behavior, which makes overtaking at an absolute premium. And if people are going to absolutely throw it on the inside of a corner, disaster usually follows. So we'll see. It's going to be who is going to keep the frustration under control, because there's going to be drivers stuck out of position. There's going to be people. I mean, what a worse place to have a qualifying ban at Monaco, of all places. But yeah, there's going to be drivers out of position. There's going to be those that maybe didn't get the quality lap they needed because free space is difficult to find. It's going to be about patience more than anything else. We're in for an interesting night, I think, in the commentary box. I think the stewards, they need some coffee and caffeine.
Yeah, I hope Kryptonite's not got any exams coming up soon, because he could find himself struggling slightly to get through all that. It's going to be, as you've said, a busy night, I think, for the stewards. And of course, they've got plenty more Monaco races to come with the rest of PC and PlayStation later on in the week. But it won't be too long before we get away with qualifying. And you might be thinking, around this circuit, you need to be starting right at the front. The last time we came here, season 30, on the PC side of things, it was Simon Perrinier who took the win from Thomas Wanhar and Luke Smith. I wonder what happened to those drivers who have made their way up from F2 over the years. But on the PlayStation, Matthew Alder won from 14th on the grid. Same where Olivier Panis won from back in 1996, but Matthew didn't need any rain to assist him. He did that in the dry. Yes, back then, there was a slight difference in the rules, of course, and you were allowed to... Top 10 had to start on the same set of tyres, but we'll wait and see how things go. Not too long before we get underway with qualifying. And also, another thing about qualifying around here, you've kind of got to take it a bit careful early on. You don't want to be losing a front wing or losing a wheel unnecessarily. So these first few laps, probably taking it easy before really going for it right at the end.
Also, Olivier Panis had the advantage of 3/4 of the grid were retired. So, but a win's a win. Not taking it away. It was, who was the team? I'm trying to remember who the team was. Ligier, yes, their only ever Formula 1 win. So we're into qualifying, and no one's moved.
Yeah, no one moving.
Yeah, they have. Or somebody is about to now.
Yeah, they're just starting to make their way out onto the circuit. Then as we get going for this qualifying session, you can see it is... it was one of the Aston Martins leading them out, but they've been quickly been blocked by one of the Haas cars making their way out. Now, that could be Ika Baena, even though he is still in the pits, because you are allowed to do a outlap if you've got a qualifying ban, just to check that everything is working properly with your setup. So we'll wait and see if the drivers choose to take advantage of that. But there they are, heading out onto the circuit. Looks beautiful weather conditions now. We'll see if that is going to be the way later on. And of course, Monaco, not a lot has changed over the years at the Monte Carlo circuit. As we see, Jack West has retired from the session. But one thing that is different, the cars, and especially these 2022 cars, so much bigger than those that have come before.
Yeah, that's part of the contributing factor of the overtaking problem, is because they can't do much to alter the circuit here. It is, of course, surrounded by the harbour and surrounded by buildings. There really is very, very little they can do to make any kind of significant alterations. So what do? They can't make the cars narrower. They can't make them shrink. You've got to bear in mind that Monaco has been used as a racing circuit since pretty much before F1 existed back in 1950. And back then, the cars were considerably smaller. Carter, seriously? You'd not even completed a lap and you've already managed to earn yourself a 5-place grid drop. Impressive. Well done.
Yeah, not ideal whatsoever. So we'll head out with someone. We'll head out with Max Wiesel as he's heading across the finish line to get us a lap on the famous Monte Carlo street circuit. Heading into Sandoval there. You are allowed to just cut that curve slightly, making your way up the hill now. Up Beauvage in towards Batonnet, and then you want to stick towards the left-hand side of the corner as much as you can as you make your way through Casino Square. Now down towards Mirabeau. That bump on the left-hand side really unsettles the car, so you want to try and avoid that as you head in towards Mirabeau. And now the slowest corner in Formula 1, Lowe's Hairpin, where they actually have to use a different steering rack in the cars to just make their way round their hairpin. Now in towards Portier, where Ayrton Senna's famously crashed it in 1988. And now through the tunnel, a lot longer than it originally used to be. Flat out through there, though. Stick towards the right-hand side of the track for possibly one of the best overtaking opportunities on the track. The new rail chicane, Max Wiesel cutting that almost perfectly there. Making his way now in towards the back and then flying through the first part of the slimming pool. Full commitment needed through there. Full commitment through the second part of it as well. Just pushing the wall before you make your way in towards Rascasse. Running a tiny bit deep there. Anthony out. Final corner of the circuit, 109.029 for Ismail Fassi. Duncan Hoffland also manages a 109. Max Wiesel just a tiny bit off on a 109.338. And we did see on board with Max there was a couple of occasions where he did get a tiny bit too close to the wall. And that's why he's 3 tenths off the rest of the pack. Matt Alder has destroyed his car coming out of Casino. So he's not parked it, he's wrecked it. Is where that's happened. He's on the exit of the Casino on the way down to Mirabeau. He has stuffed it into the wall. So that's a problem. Again, worst possible circuit to make that mistake. And that caught Christoph Zeller slightly unawares, but Christoph had already completed his hot lap, so no harm, no foul there. The wreckage is still there. I'd have thought it would disappear. Oh, there we go. That took a long time to disappear. Joseph Loke, good to see he's back with us. He is in the Alfa Romeo, just coming down to Lowe's Hairpin. It's called Grand Hotel Hairpin these days, but wow, as he gets the tail really wagging on the exit. But yeah, Lowe's Hairpin is certainly a dance like quicker to say than Grand Hotel.
or if we go back far enough, I think it was called Station Hairpin at one point. He's still weaving the car amazingly. That's a brave man weaving in between the walls of Monaco. That's inviting an accident as far as I'm concerned. But I can't do a lap of Monaco. This is a track I just cannot do. Doesn't matter what machinery I'm in, be it single-seated, GT, push bike, doesn't matter. I'm in the wall somewhere. This is a track I don't get on with at all. So all credit to the drivers for giving it a go, frankly.
I mean, I absolutely love it at Monaco when you just get it all hooked up. Doesn't happen loads, I've got to admit, when I'm driving, but when you get a lap hooked up at Monaco, it feels absolutely fantastic, no matter what machinery you are in. But yeah, it can be very frustrating. On the wheel, it's a great track to drive. I've tried it on the pad, and I'm surprised I haven't got a PlayStation controller permanently embedded through my TV screen. It was that frustrating. Thankfully, I believe we have got the entire grid racing on the wheel, so that shouldn't be any issue for any of them, as Joseph Lowe making his way around the second sector at the moment. Only taken part in 2 races so far, and has got a third and a second from both of them. So who's looking to make sure that he can stay on the podium? And that crash from Matthew Older means, combined with, I think, Ika Baena being behind them, Harvey Cohen and Jack West with their qualifying bans, actually looking like they will be starting on the 9th row of the grid. So definitely not as bad as it could have been for them, as Loke makes his way in towards the swimming pool now. So much commitment through there. It amazes me how much curb they are able to take at that part of the corner. Sliding the rears again to try to get the rotation out of Raskas. Is this going to be the first lap in the 108s? No, 109.4 for Joseph Loke. So still that initial time from Duncan Hoffland is the one to beat. It's looking very, very close at the top of the order as always. And you don't often, partly because of the qualifying bans, partly because of the accident that we've seen, you don't often get 6.5 minutes into qualifying and only 12 drivers having set a lap time.
Very, very true indeed. A couple of names we've had a few replacements for this week's round. A couple of names I'm really looking forward to seeing: Caden Lute and Primoz Miklavcic. Neither have set a lap at the moment. Caden Lute in the Alpine, just coming through Anthony Nose now to put his first lap on the board. He just brushed the wall coming through Raskas, so that's a 10 on the board for him. What about Miklavcic? That's a 109.840. So again, the best yet to come out. But yeah, Duncan Hoffland still with that top spot. He's speaking of Duncan Hoffland, he's just bringing the Aston over the line again. I think he's starting another lap. So not resting on his laurels in this one. Can Ismail Fassi kind of shake the monkey off his back, so to speak? Can he get some good luck here of all places? Looking good so far. Currently lined up on the front row. And, Baulin Ferrara is also with us. He's in the Mercedes, starting in third, due to start in third position at the moment. Of course, plenty of the qualifying session still to go, as the Mercedes now flying through Ferrara's Louis Chiron, or the swim pools it was. No, that's invalid. It's just a little bit too much curb on the exit of that section, and they brings that one in. So commentator Kerr's count, that's the first one to me.
Yeah, Monaco is a circuit where you can pick up a few track limit penalties. Sandoval, swimming pool chicane, and Maneuver chicane being the main ones where you have just got to be a tiny bit careful. It looks like Ismail Fassi was going for a second warm-up lap, and a reminder, it has only been Fassi and his teammate, the championship leader Ika Baena, on pole position so far this season. First 2 pole positions went to Baena, the last 2 at Zandvoort and Montreal went to Ismail Fassi, as Duncan Hoffland brings it back to the pits. He clearly also not really too happy with that lap. Carter Lundy with a 5-place grid penalty, certainly not what the young Canadian driver needs, as he also dives into the pits, still looking for his first points of the season. Daniel Koya got his best result of the season last time out. He's having a much better lap on this occasion as well. 4 tenths up, but he's going to need a bit more in the final sector if he wants to get anywhere near those towards the top of the order. Half the session gone. It is still Hoffland, Fassi and Feather, your top 3 drivers at the moment. Daniel Koya gains half a second, can only put that car in towards 12th place. So everyone who's allowed to set a lap time has now done so, and we know Cohen, West, Older and Baena will be those at the back of the grid. And unsurprisingly, it is Monaco. The drivers are finding it pretty tough out there to get clean laps in.
Yeah, shocked as no one by that. And also, I was not shocked to see that we're just seeing a constant stream of laps being set, numerous times. Wow, nice job, Ismail Fassi. 108.937, first sub 109 lap we've seen of the session, putting yet again the hat on the front row. I'm not surprised to see a constant stream of laps. All too many times we've seen a sudden burst of banker lap set and then nothing for a lot of the session. But quite a few races in this season. I think last season as well, come to think of it, we saw much more of this constant stream of laps being set. But here in Monaco, you want to be maximising all the track time you possibly can. Marcus Siriano is the next driver. He's got the Ferrari under 109. There's a 108.985. Slots into second.
Yeah, he's looking quite close at the moment. Valentin Thibard, a man who's had a reputation of being a bit of a qualifying king. Looks like this is a possible warm-up lap before really going for it. Yet to get a pole position this season has Valentin Thibard, and only managed to be classified in one race, and that was round number 1 of the season at Spain, classified down in 60th place. So this is going to be as close to a home race for Valentin this season, and he throws that AlphaTauri in towards the Matinee and Casino Square section, 1800ths of a second up at the moment on his personal best. And this is another circuit where, I mean, we've seen it from Ismail Fassi, you can get multiple laps in because it is such a slow track. Tyre wear has never really been a concern around here.
No, it may well be a slow lap. It's also a fairly short lap in F1 terms. As you can see, everyone bar Caden Lute under the 110s. I'm keeping an eye on Bowlin Ferrar. He's 3.5 tenths up. This will put him quite comfortably, comparatively speaking, into pole if he can just do Raskas and Anthony Nogues as well as he's done the rest of the lap. This looks like an absolute stormer. Is it going to complete? It's a 108.841. He did lose a little bit of time in that final sector, but it's pole nonetheless for now for Bowlin Ferrar.
Yeah, Bowlin Ferrar, he wanted to race today. He was really looking forward to it. Was hoping that he could get a race in Canada as well, but not to be for him. And I think you can see why he's glad to be up there at the moment. Fastest of everyone, only driver in the 108.8 at the moment, and we'll wait and see what he's going to be able to do later on. Second place, I should say, in the championship. Well, Lewis, last couple of races, he's had absolute disasters in qualifying and managed to get a 5th place in the Netherlands and a 4th place in Canada. And he admitted, hey, in Canada, I was lucky. Not quite sure how I managed to get onto, such a good points finish around there. He knows he's got a good chance of retaking the championship lead tonight, has the Red Bull driver, as Joseph Lowe goes fastest of everyone in the Alfa Romeo. And Will Lewis also getting into the 108.9s for now, puts himself in towards 4th place, starting to heat up in the final moments of this qualifying session. Duncan Hoffland towards the line. First lap time in the 108.7s. Hoffland looking hot tonight.
Anything you can do, I can do better, he says, as he puts the Aston Martin back up top. I'm keeping an eye on Caden Lute, who is just coming through Anthony Nogues now to try and get himself a little bit closer towards the sharper end of the field. That is a 1.2 second improvement, puts him 9th. 109.264, slots in behind Thivard and alongside Max Wiesel on row 5. Wow, Duncan Hoffland. Oh, goodness me. What can you say? Just when he's on form, my God, he's untouchable. He just hasn't been able to convert that into race results. 3rd in Zandvoort has been his best so far, and only 4 points last time out in Canada. It just does not truly reflect what Duncan is capable of. Still 4 3/4 minutes to go, and still some surprises left to be sprung.
Yeah, and Duncan, he's not known for his qualifying pace, and I think he'd admit that as much as anyone else. So he'll be pleasantly surprised with that lap as Ismail Fassi just getting too greedy through the Nouvelle chicane. He was down by a 10th of a second coming through the very short first section of the lap anyway, so this is not going to be an improvement for him. And I think, given how fast he's going, we might be seeing him diving it back towards the pits after that initial lap. Well, initially was right up there towards the top. One of the first drivers to get into the 1:08. Still in 4th place though at the moment. We'll see what anyone else can do. Mirko Suriano, he's backed off of this lap as well in the Ferrari. Wasn't too happy after a clash with Daniel Koya last time out. Tried to get a penalty removed from that. That was not given by the stewards, and he's really aggrieved by that. He thinks that's cost him big style. Could be important in the championship later this season. 6th place for him in this session. Pretty quiet out there on circuit at the moment. The only cars that are out, we've got Max Wiesel on his way back to the pits, Willem Ferrer on an outlap, and also one of the McLarens just heading out there on an outlap as well. That is Chanakinchi.
Yeah, I'm watching Bowlin Ferrar at the moment. He keeps dropping it to neutral and revving it. I know there are fuel burning techniques to do during the outlap. I didn't think revving it in neutral was one of them. But hey-ho, I'm not an esports driver for very, very good reason. So then, 108.841, his previous time, as he's just coming through the final sector, but he is potentially going to face a lot of traffic. Look at how many cars are now streaming out of the pits, and the Mercedes could well meet, or is going to meet, some traffic. Is he going to improve? 108.748, his target from Duncan Hoffman, as Ferrar starts his final time lap.
Yeah, we're into that banzai phase of qualifying, as Chris always tells us. Let's really see what Willem Ferrar can do here in this one. He is going to meet a ton of traffic, but they should hopefully all be making sure that they get well out of the way, and it's 78 thousandths down for the Mercedes driver at the moment through the first sector. Needs to be brave throughout the rest of the lap to see if he can try and just gain any time that he can. He knows he's got a very good time on the board now, so can probably afford to be a bit more greedy with some of the curves and a bit more brave through some of the corners as he makes his way through the tunnel on what is possibly going to be his final flying lap here in towards the chicane. Very, just a bit tight there coming through the middle of the chicane. I think he had to correct himself there, so that is not ideal for Willem Ferrer on this lap at the moment. And yeah, he's backed off completely, 2 seconds down on his best, but still with enough time to get one more lap in. We'll see what he can do later on. Who else have we got playing out there on a hot lap at the moment? Chanakinchi, he's also lost time in the first sector, so they're finding it tricky. A lot of cars needing that second lap to really feel comfortable.
It would seem so. I mean, they've got time to get out there and get 2 laps done. As it currently stands, not much time to do it. I'm riding on board with Valentin Thibard, currently 8th position, 109.016 is his time. I think Chanakinchi invalidated his his current attempt. That's nearly 2 tenths up for Thibard. So he's looking at potentially kind of 3rd or 4th at the moment, depending on how this final sector goes. I wince at how close they get, nearly bouncing into the wall for the AlphaTauri, and that is 2nd. Oh, look at that. Wow, how close. 8 thousandths of a second behind Hoffman. Thibard at the moment on the front row.
Yeah, Ismail Fassi's backed off on his lap as well, but has still got a bit of time, if he so chooses to set another Willem Ferrer. I think he just tapped the wall there, making his debut this season. So close to hitting the barrier. That's if he didn't do so. ERS light flashing on the car. That's going to cost him on the run towards the line. And in the end, 4th place, all he can do. Drake Dempsey, he's lost it coming, well, that's quite a long way coming out of Sandoval. That's quite a weird place to see some of these cars losing it. So, yeah, Primoz Miklavčić, he's also retired from the session. So we know what our bottom 6 drivers are going to be. We'll wait and see what it's going to be looking like for everyone else at the moment. Joseph Loke, he's going to be on one of the drivers on a lap. Christoph Scheller, he's crashed out the section in an almost identical place as what we saw Matthew Older crash for car. This is going to be dramatic, this final part of qualifying. Chanakinchi, he's just shot himself up in towards 4th place. Now we've got one of the AlphaTauris heading towards the line. That is going to be Daniel Koya, puts himself in towards 12th place. Valentin Thibard, unsurprisingly, couldn't find any improvements on that final one. Max Wiesel got a podium last time out. Where's he going to be starting here? It is going to be no better than 6th place for the German. Mirko Suriano, he's down on his best time. Needs a fantastic final sector to find any improvements at the moment. He knew that wasn't coming. He stays in 9th place. Next car towards the line will be Willem Ferrer. He's just going to dive it back towards the pits. Joseph Loke, is he improving? It was a very quick middle sector from Joseph Loke, so this could be good enough to take provisional pole position away from Duncan Hoffman towards the line. In the end, a 1/4 of a second down for him. Ismail Fassi can't go any better than 7th place. Duncan Hoffman's invalidated, but it looks like he might have done enough.
Goodness me, still several cars crashing out. As well, yep, Carter Lundy just found one, but had already crossed the line. Yeah, so with Chanakinchi retiring, just got to wait for Duncan Hoffman to officially park his car, and that's the first non-Haas pole starter we've had this season.
Yeah, quite, maybe not as surprising. Monaco can always pull different results, and Haas were effectively down to one car in the qualifying session, but it is Duncan Hoffman on pole position by just 8 thousandths of a second then from Valentin Thibaud. Joseph Loke in third, Shanakinchi and Bourlem Ferrer also within a tenth of a second of pole position. Wiesel, Fassi, Luis Suriano, and it will be Caden Lutt rounding out the top 10 because of that penalty for Carter Lundy. Pookie, Koya, Scheller, Dempsey, then it will be Lundy. Miklevcic, the final driver to set a time. Cohen had a qualifying ban. West had a qualifying ban. Matthew Older crashed out coming out of Casino Square in a similar place to Christoph Scheller. And Ika Baena also with a qualifying ban. Quite an interesting qualifying session there. We'll see what the race has got right after this break. So, what awaits for drivers at the famous Monaco circuit? 3.37 kilometres, 2.074 miles, 19 corners, and that one DRS zone into Sandevort, which, if we're being honest, probably isn't going to help the drivers all too much.
We'll see. I think it's going to be a case of who's the bravest of the bravest of the brave. Or who ducks out of the way of the one that misses the breaking point. There's so many unknowns with Monaco. It's so difficult to call how it's gonna go down before a wheel's been turned. But 20 seconds until all the talking is done. It is time to head trackside for who is going to be king of Monaco.
Yeah, certainly. Who is going to roll the roost here in the Principality? Let us know in the chat who you think it is going to be. Duncan Hoffland starting on pole position with Valentin Thibaud alongside him. Neither of those two have won a race this season. In fact, I think you've got to go quite a long way down the grid to Ismail Fassi before you get the first race winner. We've got 5 lights. They go out and we're underway here at Monaco. What are the starts like? Pretty decent there from Duncan Hoffland. He should have enough to just hold off Valentin Thibaud in towards turn number 1 as everyone tries to filter their way through Sandevort behind them. It is Hoffland, Thibaud, Loke, Akinci, Bourlem Ferrer trying to get some moves done here, but just finding his path getting blocked off in the early stages as Jack West and Primoz Miklevcic are swapping around further down. In fact, we've got there, I think Carter Lundy might have picked up a tiny bit of damage. Well, never mind a tiny bit of damage. He's lost his entire front wing. A disastrous start to this race then for Carter Lundy as they just slowly make their way around the hairpin for the first time. We've got a good mixture of tyres. I think we expected that about Monaco. You never quite know what is going to happen as more cars, I think, losing bits of their front wing. I'm not sure if that's, I'm not sure if I saw the Williams there driving around with bits missing from their car. I'll just try and see if that was Primoz Miklevcic. He's also got no front wing, and neither has Matthew Older. But Duncan Hoffland, he's got the view everyone wanted. He leads this race on the first lap.
Yeah, quite a bit of discarded carbon fibre through the lap. Well, again, unsurprises no one. Yeah, and again, another, exactly as you say, Luke, it's not surprising that we've got a wide variety of tyre strategies going on. Generally, everyone goes to the hards and then to the mediums later on, whereas not quite so straightforward here. 4 cars into the pits, the 4 we expected. Cohen, Lundy, Miklevcic and Older. And Older has got a 5-second penalty for nudging Primoz Miklevcic. This race is already chaos. We've done 1 lap. 4 cars have got bits missing and there's penalties ahoy. Good grief.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Big C's making a good point. Mediums could be good if safety car, knowing sort of how some of the races go. You never know what's going to be the right strategy at Monaco. I tend to think starting on the harder tyres is better, as long as you don't get caught out by an early safety car, because, the tyres can last so long around here. You never know what is going to happen. Lead car on the medium tyres, we are on board with then. Joseph Lowe, he's behind a very loose Valentin Thibaud. We've seen this on a few occasions from the Frenchman. He does not mind having a very racy setup as Jack West, who clearly has gone racy then, as you are seeing. 5 places gained on that first lap. He's flying around on the soft tyres and trying to get onto the back of Drake Dempsey to try and ensure that he has got DRS next time around, even though, like we said, DRS probably not going to help you overtake too much. It is activated this lap around, so they will be able to use it on the run towards Sandoval. And is Joseph Lowe going to be feeling brave? He's in that 3rd place. He's got close to Thibard on a few occasions. Is he going to risk it and go for a move and try to see if he can attack Hoffland and get away?
Well, we will see. Baena is in the pits then, so his championship lead may well be short-lived. Someone who is feeling brave is his teammate, Ismail Fassi. He has been swarming all over the back of Max Wiesel, trying to get up into 6th position. That Haas is trying moves in all kinds of brave places. It hasn't paid off for him so far, but keep an eye on the current 7th place runner. He's meaning business out there at the moment if his early performance has anything to go by.
Yeah, definitely. He is looking pretty racy on the back of that Aston Martin. He knows how important these early stages are. And I think, also being on the same tyres as the car in front of him, he knows that's just a pure fight for position. Joseph Lowe trying to see if he can take a different line out of Raskas to see if that's going to help him any bit. I mean, he's right underneath the rear wing of Valentin Thibard here, but that Alpha Tauri's also got DRS, and that means you've got basically no chance of making any move into the first corner, and it is in fact Max Wiesel who sets the fastest lap of the race at the moment. Undercuts, overcuts, all sorts of different strategies will be happening here as Thibard just a bit wide out of Massenet, but thankfully for him, Casino Square is a right-hander and he's able to hold on to Joseph Lowe. But he's really getting hounded at the moment. He's coming under some severe pressure from that Alfa Romeo behind. It's just none of the straights are really long enough for Lowe to do anything. That's
the problem, is that you may well have the pace difference. This is obviously one of the key characteristics of Monaco, because overtaking so hard, you can have all the pace in the world. If you can't get past the roadblock ahead of you, you're absolutely stumped. You're just going to have to chuck it into, here, for instance, coming into the Nouvelle Chicane, or if you're really brave, under the inside of Sandoval. You have to really think outside of the box. Also, bear in mind that Joseph Lowe's got softer tyres than Thibard and Hoffland. He needs to get past the pair of them to make his tyre strategy work. Going medium softs in Monaco? Well, I guess so. It's worth a try, I guess. But if he's going to get his strategy to work, he needs to get past Thibard, and he needs to do it pronto. The DRS zone is next to useless along the start finish straight. As Jack West is in the pits, he was already soft shod in the Red Bull, and that's the new front wing going on to his car. Hard tyres. He won't be bothering his pit crew again unless he needs new carbon fibre on the car. Oh dear, it is. I would say his race is going from bad to disastrous, but with so many people coming through the pits very, very early on, again, it is again, very fitting analogy. It is an absolute, it's roulette at the moment. You really just don't know how the cards are going to fall.
Yeah, certainly. Safety cars are going to be here. It's a possibility later on we're going to get them. You don't know, is someone going to do an undercut and then get stuck behind a slower car? Because, I mean, I've had it. I've had it on this game. I've been there, 1.5 seconds slower a lap than the car behind me, and they've just not been able to get past because it's Monaco. As long as you get it okay coming out of Anthony Note and okay coming out of Portier, you can pretty much defend throughout the rest of the lap without really having to try to do so, and that is what we're seeing at the moment with this battle for 9th and 10th place. On board with Istvan Pukki at the moment. The car in front of him is Caden Lutz. He doesn't have the DRS, but it's an absolutely appalling exit coming out of Anthony Note, and Pukki not really able to put Lutz under any pressure whatsoever. So they are just staying as they are, and it's all settling down for now. But all it takes is one little moment, one little lapse of concentration, going a bit deep into the corner. Front wing could be broken, and that could completely ruin your race. Although, I suppose good news for those at the front of the field, because there's been this carnage happening, and because we've had so many cars with issues, if you do go for an early undercut, you are less likely to get caught in any traffic and anyone else is battling.
And Jack West, in a way, has lucked out a little bit because he's come out ahead of those that have already pitted at least once. So he at least can push a little bit more. Well, obviously, bearing in mind, once he's got those hard tyres up to speed, then he's got a lot of free space ahead of him. So is he going to help out in the long run? Well, possibly. Again, it's impossible to tell. Of course, he wouldn't have wanted to have changed his front wing so early. Well, he wouldn't have wanted to change his front wing at all, frankly, but that's the luck of the draw that he's had. But he's actually pulling away from Harvey Cohen, who, of course, in turn is going to be keeping behind him Lundy, Alder, and Bayana. Primoz Miklacic, for some reason, is another 10 seconds back. I don't quite know why. Whether he had penalty to serve, I'm not certain. But Jack West, he might be in for a haul of points as yet. If he's able to sort of really make this stint work well for him, he could make a really decent undercut here.
I mean, he could. If he gets points in this race, I'll be absolutely astounded after the qualifying ban, the start that he's had. He's got a 10-second time penalty for issues in the last race as well, but you never know what could happen around here. I saw Jeffrey Ritchie say it in the chat, and I'm starting to wonder it as well, is why on earth Primoz Miklacic had gone onto a set of soft tyres, because they were never going to get him anywhere near towards the end of the race, and we are in fact seeing Miklacic make his way back down towards the pit lane. This is going to be a set of the hard tyres going on. They'll take him towards the end of the race, no worries whatsoever, and luckily for him, he will get out and still be on the lead lap, so doesn't have to worry about that one. That's definitely his only chance of getting anything from this race now. Is going to be a safety car, or there's going to be, any other carnage. It doesn't look like we're going to get rain, but we've still got 32 laps to go. You never quite know what is going to happen, and this is an interesting one. Drake Dempsey into the pits from what was 12th place. We'll wait and see whether this is for the front wing change or whether this is just a very aggressive undercut. And no, it looks like, fair play to him. He's trying something different here, as we have got a yellow flag, and I'm not quite sure who's that for. That might be
Miklacic, he's stuck it in the wall of Mirabeau, and he is missing his front wing.
He is missing his front wing. Thankfully, there is ghosting on here. Otherwise, that would also cause, I think, absolute chaos for some of these. And he is doing the wide thing, just staying well out of the way, coming out of Portier. And I'll tell you what, Joseph Lowe, all over the back of Valentin Divard here. Again, he's not going to be close enough for a dive into the chicane, I don't think. But the last couple of laps, he's been dropping further back. There, Lowe really starting to look hot on it all of a sudden. Drake Dempsey comes out in 14th place in an absolute ton of free air, and we'll just see he's 27.6 seconds behind the leader at the moment. You'd probably expect him to still maybe lose a tiny bit of time as he waits for those tyres to warm up, but that could be an interesting one to watch. He's definitely, like we said, it's worth trying to gamble, because down in 12th place, you're not gonna gain too much, but obviously he had nothing to lose from this strategy.
We've got a yellow in sector 3 for somebody. That is Zeller. That's Christoph Zeller coming into the pits in the Alpine. Is that a front wing change? Nope, just a tyre change. And Miklacic thought he might. He's parked that one. He's done the right thing, brought it into the pits. He's had enough of Monaco. So Christoph Zeller coming out of the pits. Yeah, I actually forgot that Jack West had that time penalty, despite the fact that you explained it right at the beginning of the race. So yeah, Jack has pretty much got no chance whatsoever, short of some meteor landing on the circuit, of actually getting anything. But yeah, Drake is doing a sterling job, and there we go. We've got a time penalty for warnings. It's Carter. How much harder for himself can Carter make this race?
Some would say this is what you get when you spend most of your day yesterday playing on iRacing rather than F1. But each to their own. Each to their own. They all have their own ideas, and they all know what they want to do. At the moment, Matthew Alder is almost pushing Carter Lundy around this circuit. He's also getting very close to losing the car. He's also starting to look a bit racy and just perhaps a bit too keen on the throttle there, and nothing doing for him. And Harvey Cohen leading this mini train out of those who had qualifying penalties or just had poor qualifyings, with Alder crashing and Lundy getting 5 seconds. Not too much happening between them at this moment in time as they go on to, the leaders. Halfway round lap number 10 at the moment, and Duncan Hoffland almost getting that 1 second lead over Thivard, Loke, Akinci, Ferrer, Wiesel, Fassi, Lewis, Lutz, Pookie, Suriano, and Daniel Koya just sort of in that 12th place at the moment. 15.6 seconds off the lead of this race. Doesn't seem to have any damage, but doesn't really seem to have a lot of pace at the moment. So he could be one to watch out for, because, he's the kind of guy who could really cause absolute chaos to your strategy at the moment. If you're the likes of Joseph Lowe, you come into the pitch, you come out behind Daniel Koya, you could spend a long, long time stuck behind him, because he might be thinking, let's just see if I can get towards the end and wait for a safety car.
Jack West is hustling Christoph Zeller hard for 14th place. He's really trying to get past, as we have Ismail Fassi and Isran Pookie both into the pits, assumedly for scheduled stops. Then hard tyres going onto the Ferrari, and yep, same deal onto the Haas, as Fassi, yep, he comes out still ahead of Isran, as Daniel Kvyat goes up into 10th place. So fairly straightforward stops for the Haas and the Ferrari. And where's that going to be in relation to Dempsey? Well, Dempsey's going to see them. He's not going to be past them. So now the pit stops will start to spread the field out a little bit. Don't count on it staying like that, though.
Yeah, it's not really worked out as well as I think Drake Dempsey would have expected. Well, maybe would have hoped that one. It was about 27 seconds when he came out of the pit lane. Bit of tyre warm-up made that 28. He's still 28 seconds off Duncan Hoffland. So not worked out at the moment for Drake Dempsey. It's got him a bit cleaner. Well, a bit closer, I should say. Oh, we have actually got some moves happening further back. Lundy and Alder going side by side, coming through Mimabo here. Alder's going to have the inside line for the hairpin. This is getting very tasty. Between the two of them, you can just about fit two Formula 1 cars side by side there. There's a Kinchi and Wiesel also coming to the pits. And now it's going to be a straight drag race between the McLaren and the Mercedes. The McLaren's got the inside line for the tunnel, but the Mercedes has the inside line before the chicane. Carter Lundy had run out of ERS as well, so mark your calendars, people. Lap number 12 of the Monaco Grand Prix. That was an on-track overtake. Oh, Will Lewis out the race.
Oh no! What has he done? Oh, that's a disconnect. That's never ideal. And that's pitched his car into the wall on the exit of Casino. Oh, migrating hose is always a nervous message to see. As, yeah, that hasn't yet caused a safety car to come out, which is also a little bit confusing. But what chaos is the hose migration going to cause is my first question. But at the moment, we are still going on. On my screen, the game can't decide where Lewis actually is. Where Will Lewis, sorry, is. He's bouncing around anywhere from 10th to 13th.
I mean, where he is out of this race. I think we know that one. Hopefully,
well, that's true, but he's not going down the list, is more my point.
Yeah, certainly. I think we're getting the same thing as well as Chana Kinchi has made his way out to the pits. Yeah, like you said, it has caused absolute chaos. Kinchi is out of the pits. Wiesel there as well. Joseph Loke's just making his way down the pit lane there now. I think after one lap, it might have just hopefully sort itself out and we'll be able to get where everyone is. But I think Will Lewis leaving the session has just caused a bit of drama. It's Duncan Hoffland leading this race. He has now got quite a bit of a gap over Valentin Thibard, who's got Buell and Feather all over the back of him at the moment. Joseph Loke has just been into the pits as Thibard has a massive moment coming through Portier, and this could be the opportunity that Buell and Feather needs to possibly take an overtake here. But you can see that straight line speed on that Alfa Tauri not to be messed with, and Thibard getting away with one there.
My position market is absolutely confused. Apparently, it's Daniel Kvyat in the lead. Oh no, now it's decided that Duncan Hoffland's in the lead. For a while, it was actually Joseph Loke. He came into the pits, came out from third or fourth, came out of the pits in the lead, mysteriously, with no one else pitting. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I can tell you here, but either way, I'll carry on. Is Will Lewis's car still on the exit of Casino on your screen?
It is. It is.
Yeah, but it is for me as well.
And yeah, Will Lewis is confirming it was a full game crash. What has happened to him? So we're still stuck on lap 13 as well. I don't think.
I hadn't spotted that yet. Now Duncan is 7th.
I hope the drivers are seeing a different lap today. So otherwise, we've got an incredibly long Monaco Grand Prix ahead of us, folks. Some of us have got work in the morning.
Yeah. Hopefully the drivers are seeing better than I, because I'm stuck on lap 13 as well. The bottom section of my lap chart from about 14th down to 19th has... Oh no, that's shuffling around as well. So no, I have no idea where anybody is.
Yeah, that's the same. Some of the drivers are multitasking in the Discord as well and saying they're getting a similar idea. They've also got no idea what is happening on some of them now, they're saying at the moment. Right, Duncan Hoffland's making his way in towards the pit lane then. Off that set of the hard tyres, as for a second then I thought things had just sorted themselves out. But we can't watch him coming down the pit lane because that unfortunately needs to come with an epilepsy warning. Caden Lutz, he's out there on the... Oh!
I had that a few times as well.
I just had Cade and Locke going to the back of Duncan Hoffland out there on the circuit, so yeah. Who knows what's happening here at the moment?
Duncan's just coming out of the pits on my screen. On my screen, Duncan's only just come out of the pit lane.
Yeah, well, what might be worth trying here, Chris? Do you want to risk leaving the lobby and rejoining and then seeing if things look normal? And then
you're the stream host, so it's worth me taking that risk rather than you.
You take that risk, and then we'll see if things sort themselves out at the moment. Yeah.
I'll guinea pig this. Yeah, I'll see who I can rejoin off of.
I mean, I've got Joseph Loke into the Joseph Loke driving underneath Duncan Hoffland at the moment. Those were the days. Where's Josh Morgan when you need it? It's happening at Monaco. It's not quite the watershed, so we're not 100% sure what is. Yeah, there we go. Joseph Loke through the inside of Duncan Hoffland. Yeah, Kryptonite's right. Very soon we're going to end up with an Aston Martin Alfa Romeo go-kart in about 9 months' time.
Yep.
Just trying to see who's still out there on their original set of tyres. I mean, we've got Soriano ghosted on my screen and Max V still driving through him. I will wait and see whether we are going to get a restart. And yeah, it sounds like we are. It sounds like we are going to have a restart. Oh, well, I say fortunately, folks. I think we all know that we don't want to cope with this one. Some of the drivers are saying they've been driving inside another car for quite a while. So it does look as though we are going to have a restart. Yeah, it's just one of those things, unfortunately, Chris, that we have to deal with sometimes.
Yes, it happens. And no, I can't rejoin the lobby.
Oh, so it sounds like we're going to be leaving the lobby soon anyway. Just yeah, I mean, there's no point showing you the race in action because there's cars all over the place. We're not quite seeing the right thing. So we are going to get a restart. It's just. And they're just waiting to see what happened because it did happen quite a long way through the race. Of course, if this
that's the problem, isn't it? Is that we were that 12. I don't know. I suspect this race will have to be rerun on a different date. Would be my guess. I mean, Connor is checking the rules to see what is actually stated for this eventuality. In my opinion, the race needs to be postponed. Too much of it has been run to just restart it. You've got to bear in mind you've got people of different time zones as well. Had all be well, we'd be finishing the race about now, so we don't really want to be restarting it, especially on a school night. So, I mean, we'll go with what, of course, the decision is. So the rules state either postponement or full restart, and in my honest opinion, it should be a postponement because we're too far in to do. If we were first 5 laps, then it wouldn't matter. A restart would be the option. But as Connor was also saying, there's no time in the schedule for a postponement. Of course, it could be a cancel. So we will see. I'm keeping an eye on the Discord to see what is. Mercosuriano's just made the point I'm coming onto. It's already 10 p.m. or just coming up to 10 p.m. for him, and he won't be the only one. So I wouldn't be surprised if this race got voided or was rescheduled. But if Connor's saying he can't be rescheduled, in my opinion, it needs to be voided.
Yeah, I mean, I did check the rules myself, and I think it's Article 21.2 in the rules. If it's less than 50%, it is either a postponement or a full restart. It will not be counting that as a result. It's not like F1 where if you get 2 racing laps, you can claim a result. and I think a lot of the drivers are saying, a lot of European drivers here, it is 10 p.m. I mean, I think for some we're heading towards 11 p.m. As you go further, heading towards Central and Eastern Europe, we're just seeing what the drivers are saying, and there doesn't really seem to be any organisation of whether we're getting a restart or a postponement here. But we'll try and keep you guys in the loop, and we'll let you know as soon as we do. But a lot of the drivers are, I can tell you now, more are saying restart than postpone. But if all the drivers who want it postponed don't turn up, I'm not sure there's a lot everyone else can do.
Well, a very quick vote was held, and it was 10-6 of the 16 drivers that voted. This one's going to take a little while to figure out, I think. Again, it's not our decision to make. I appreciate that. My thought is to either postpone it or void it. It is my honest thought. But of course, the more this gets batted around, the later it becomes.
I mean, yes, of course, next week is a break week for the PC side of things because of F1 esports, so can't be putting it in there. Then we've got a race at Silverstone the week after that. Then it's Christmas. No one's going to want to race, I don't think, over the Christmas period. People will be, you've got quite a few students here. They'll be with their families. They'll be, in different locations, so might not be where they have got their PC and their setup. So I don't think we're going to see racing happening over the Christmas period. It's just all about when everyone can fit it into the schedule. What we will do while things are waiting, we're going to have a very short break, and we'll be back in a moment. Guess what, folks? And get ready for the long haul. We are going to be going racing once again here at Monaco. Decision has been made. We will be restarting, and I think we're just trying to get everyone to, which includes us, get everyone to join their way back in towards the lobby. But yes, decision has been made. We will be back racing.
Oh my. Well, this is going to be interesting.
It is. It's also going to be straight from the qualifying grid as well. So it's not going to be from how the results were on lap number 13 when Will had his disconnection. It is going to be dry weather, I believe, as well, because we were expecting things to be dry. And yeah, we'll keep you updated on when things are going to be going. Some of the drivers are here saying, you know what, we might as well just go for the wet weather now to make it a bit more interesting, which would certainly leave us waiting a long, long time. But we are going to be back racing at Monaco, which is, it's good news for Will Lewis, and in a way, it's good news for those that had the qualifying bans, because I seem to remember, I think every single one of them had to come into the pits for various reasons in the first couple of laps.
I'm just struggling to keep up with all the chat going on, but I don't envy the those at the top of the tree at the moment having to basically get weighed in and keep the peace because it's, shall we say, a lot of opinions are being bluntly expressed, I think is how I think I can safely say. Oh, good grief. Well, apparently the lobby's up. I will see if that is the case.
So, Darren, that's your first battle. That the lobby's up, praise the Lord for that
same
one.
host. Same host.
It is going to be Will Lewis again. I think I think Will was quite keen not to host, but I think Big C has put his hammer down and said, you are going to be the one that is hosting this. Tough luck.
Get on with it.
To sort of get on with it. And like I said, the quicker we rejoin, the quicker we will be able to get a restart to this race. So I'm very quickly going to remind everyone, because it felt like an exceptionally long time ago when we had the qualifying session. So we're going to remind everyone what the results were of that qualifying session. And I believe as well, you will be able to pick different tyres because there's no tyre rule. So we'll wait and get that clarified. But I think you'll be seeing drivers on different tyres, as my iPad has decided today it's the right time to start trying to promote YouTube Premium to me, as we try to get the race coming up there in the background. I mean, we know Duncan Hopland starting on pole position. Valentin Thivard will be alongside him then on the front row of the grid. It was Joseph Loke in third place, Chanakichi fourth, Buelen Ferrer, Max Wiesel row number 3 of the grid. Ismail Fassi starting in 7th, Will Lewis starting in 8th, Mirko Suriano starting in 9th place. Waiting to see here whether Cartolundi is going to end up getting his penalty removed for what happened earlier on.
Oh, God.
If he does get it removed, he'll be starting 10th. If he doesn't, he'll be starting 15th. Caden Lutz, Istvan Pukki, Daniel Koyer, Christoph Scheller, Drake Dempsey, Primoz Miklavčić, Harvey Cohen, Jack West, Matthew Alder, Ika Baena, and Cartolundi is getting his grid penalty removed. So he will be starting in 10th place. So he's the real winner from all of this.
Weather is still dynamic.
Oh,
so...
boy.
Yeah. Whether that is going to remain that way, it remains to be seen. But it's been set. It has been set. It has been set. No, I think that's right. I think that's fair because we are trying to recreate, without issues, the lobby we've just had. So, yeah, that would be fair.
Yeah, like you said, it is the fair thing to do. I think definitely to make the lobby reset. We've got 18 drivers in the lobby. We've got us 2 in as the spectators, so it shouldn't be too long before we are on the way. If you want to know which drivers to send abuse to get them to hurry up, join in the lobby, I think, I think they've been told by Connor, look, if you don't want to join, you don't have to join. You can stay out if you want to. But I think at the moment it's one of the Red Bulls. It looks like Jack West, who wasn't too keen on hanging around, I don't think, given he had started at the back of the grid and has that 10th-place grid penalty. And it was also Caden Lutz, who I think wasn't doing too bad, so we're just waiting to see him to join. Jack West has joined, so it is just going to be Caden Lutz that is on his way in soon. And normally, of course, we'd have been saying you've got some football they can watch in the background, but for the first time in about 2 and a bit weeks, there's no football on. So you're stuck with me and Chris until we get this back underway.
Yeah, you poor souls. Well, we've got one of our absentees in. We're up to 19 now. Just waiting for whoever it is that... Oh, no, there they go. We've got 20. Now, Carter did say that we'll be going on the hour, ready or not. So if everybody is in, we'll just wait for the grid to be finally set. And, yeah, we'll be good to go once again. But at least we know that the weather is going to be set. And it says race to the top. I don't see a countdown yet. So we will be going momentarily.
Yeah, it is. I think we're going to wait one more to see lobby settings change, and that'll be Will setting up the grid. Thankfully, he does have that in the chat. So let's go for a reminder of what happened last week, because it does seem an age ago now in the last race, and what that has done for the championship. Because it was quite a crazy race that we had at Canada, which did see Ika Baena take the victory there, holding on the final lap. Couple more corners. It would have been Joseph Lowe taking the win. Max Wiesel in 3rd place. Will Lewis recovering from 18th to 4th. He's recovered from a disconnect here, so we'll see what he can do in this session. Koya, Fassi, Hofland, Poland, Norgrove getting his first points of the season as a reserve, and Mirko Subiano in 10th place. So Ika Baena leading the championship at the moment by 4 points from Will Lewis. Ismail Fassi or Mirko Subiano could also be leading the championship by the end of tonight, and it's going to be a tough job for Ika to stay at the top, because Will, starting up towards the top 10, Ika with that qualifying ban, didn't really make too much progress in the postponed race, and that was, as we said, that was the case for everyone else. On that first lap, I think we saw Carter lose a front wing, Primoz lost a front wing, later on Christoph, and I think Jack West also losing their front wings. It's the concertina effect at the hairpin, just seemingly catching everyone out.
Yep. That is exactly it. But, who's going to come out on top this time? Will, again, the biggest question is how will Will do? How will Will do, as in Will Lewis? Because, of course, he had his big game crash that brought about this situation in the first place. Now trying to get everybody to ready up so we can get the show back on the road once more.
We did see, and I don't want to get people's hopes up here, but I did just see the setting message saying that lobby settings have changed. So if that's true, we could be about a minute away from getting this race underway. Thankfully, of course, we don't have the formation lap to deal with, so we don't have that. Big thank you to everyone that has stuck with us so far. We know this is Certainly not ideal for you guys that are watching at home. We want to get this race underway. You want to get this race underway. And hopefully we'll have a nice, clean, glitch-free race. And we'll wait and see what could happen. We've got a countdown, folks, so not too long before we will be getting underway. And I'm intrigued to see what tyres everyone goes for. Because last time, the front row of the grid went for the hards, second row went for the mediums, and it didn't really help them out.
No, but then those starting on the softs didn't really make all that much progress. Well, some did, but I think that's the nature of the track rather than nature and how the tyres do. Will Primož also keep his nose? He had a record number of pit stops as well last time around, but let's see how we get on as we're heading trackside.
Yeah, it won't be too long before we are heading back towards the track and back towards seeing what is going to happen around here. So let's again take a look at the the track map of the Monaco circuit. 3.337 kilometers, 2.074 miles, 19 corners. The one DRS zone which gave people the little opportunity of getting overtakes done, but didn't really see too many drivers going for the overtakes. It's a bit of a shame you can't set almost like 2/3 distance races on this game, because that would have been perfect for what's just happened.
Yeah, very much so. And we're loading in. We are on the way to the grid.
Yeah, enough of seeing me and Chris. Let's head towards the grid. And unsurprisingly, seeing as with what we said, we know what the way is going to be like. We know what the race is going to be like as well. It's going to be nice and sunny, nice and clear weather all the way through. And I am going to be intrigued to see what different tyre strategies everyone is going to go for. I think Valentin Thijvard looked as though he was struggling a bit earlier on as well, but Joseph Lowe couldn't quite get ahead of him. We'll see if anything changes in this second. And touch wood, hopefully, final start.
Yes, let's hope that all the technical gremlins have been dealt with now. And so we can have then the true race distance of Monaco fully fulfilled. Hopefully with less discarded carbon fibre. But it's Monaco. I'm not holding up too much hope for that one. Again, no disrespect to our drivers. It's just that's the nature of this track.
Yes, it certainly is. It's going to be the same grid as qualifying, people. Let's wait and see what we've got for another 39 laps around Monaco. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. They go out and we're underway in the Principality, and it's a jump start for Joseph Lowe. So he has gained a position courtesy of that, but that is going to cost him with the drive-through penalty. Hoffland leads, Lowe in second, Thijvard in third place. Drake Dempsey has had a spin right down at the back of the field. He's dropped all the way down towards last place, but thankfully still has his front wingers. Wiesel and Fassi are going side by side, coming out to Casino Square. And Isabel Fassi's been tapped slightly by Will Lewis, and that could allow Will to get the overtake done, but it is Hoffland leading. Loke in second place with that penalty. Thijvard, Farah, Akinci, Wiesel, Fassi, Lewis and Suriano as the chaos at the hairpin begins again.
Of course it does. Once more, Matt Alder's now fallen down to the tail end of the field. Again, a very broad spread of tyre choices. I don't think everyone stuck to the same tyres they did before, but this is being treated as a fresh event, as if the first one didn't occur. So there's no enforcing of a rule that says you must use the same tyres you were going to use last time, because the last event's null and void. So Christoph Zeller is proving to be a bit of a roadblock at the moment. His front wing looks intact from the external point, but he is dropping like a stone and taking the Klapchitz, Dempsey, Ikabayena with him. And that's that's Joseph Lowe into the pits then for that drive-through for the jump start. And Christoph Zeller also coming into the pits. I thought he was struggling a little bit. Fresh nose for the Alpine and hard tyres as well. But Duncan Hoffland now leads Valentin Thijvard by 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, and I just saw there Istvan Pukki trying to go alongside Cartalundi. Couldn't quite make it pull off as he looked as though he was going to go for a move in towards Mirabo, but I think things will calm down now. Yeah, Duncan Hoffland, perhaps the biggest changer in terms of tyres. He's gone for the mediums, as have a lot of others towards the front of the field. And with Lowe getting the good start and then getting the penalty, that's just allowed Duncan Hoffland to absolutely escape here. 1.8 seconds his lead at the moment, and he is just going to build a huge gap, you feel, over Thijvard, because we saw earlier on, mediums versus hard tyres, there's a bit of a pace gap, but there's not really enough to make, too much of a difference, and not really enough to make any overtakes a possibility. We'll see what the big gainers were on the first laps. Jack West again, absolutely nailing the start of this race on those soft tyres from 18th to 12th. Really, not quite sure what happened there, really. Not too much chaos befalling the rest of the field. Hoffland's now got his gap up towards 2 seconds, and we'll see if West can do anything on this set of softs.
Ismail Farsi was fairly close to the back of Max Wiesel for a brief period of time, right behind Carter Lundy as well. The McLaren has no DRS to try and utilise as Jack West tries to get side by side with the Ferrari on the way to Casino. Brave and probably foolhardy, but he backed out of that one at the right time. So no change at the 11th position at the moment, but Carter Lundy has a lot of people buzzing around his rear wing. He's on the hards. Those right with him are on mediums and softs. That's a very uncomfortable position for the McLaren to be in.
Yeah, definitely. It's not ideal there, and yeah, that was looking very close between Pookie and West coming in towards Massenet. I think he realised that he had to give up that position, otherwise he was going to find himself getting squeezed towards the wall, and that's been a terrible exit from Istvan Pookie. Just not a long enough run in towards Sabak. You're only making a move there if you're already ahead before the corner. You have got to rely on a big mistake from the car in front of you for that to be the case, and it's been a cleaner first couple of laps. Christoph Scheller, again, unfortunately, having to make an early pit stop, but despite being clean, we've got a very spread out field once again. I mean, 12th place at the moment we're looking at Jack West. He is currently 10 seconds already off the lead of this race. Joseph Loke setting the fastest lap at the back of the field. He's going to have a very long afternoon, well, evening in front of him, you could say. But he's already, even after that drive-through penalty, he's already onto the back of the pack.
He's onto the back of a pack. Certainly, this will be the pack that leads up to Carter Lundy in 10th place. That Joseph Loke has indeed caught up to the back of, and now has to do the maths and figure out how he's going to get past anybody, same as everyone is of course doing. I'm still keeping an eye on Ismail Fassi, staying very, very close to the back of Max Wiesel, trying to pressure the Aston Martin into a mistake. Isn't yet paying off for him as Dempsey and Miklavcic have swapped round on the way into the chicane. So that is Miklavcic in the Williams. Possibly, is he struggling a little bit, or was he just caught off guard? We will see if Dempsey then is able to get away. He was ghosted for a brief moment on my screen, but he seems to be doing well. And Jack is now into the pits. Those soft tyres doing him no favours whatsoever. It's a set of hards for the Red Bull.
And that set of hards will take him towards the end of the race, let's not forget. So, Jack West coming in very early, getting rid of that set of the soft tyres, just like we saw Drake Dempsey do in the early race.
Sorry, Luke. I just noticed that Pookie was alongside Carter Lundy, and the McLaren gave the Ferrari a bit of a punch in the face, just coming through Casino, defending that 10th position, and Harvey Cohen tried to make a move on the Ferrari for 11th, couldn't quite work out, so no change in that particular position, but it's getting very fidgety behind Carter.
Yeah, I get a funny feeling this isn't ending with that McLaren and the Ferrari having every single bit of carbon fibre that they need to go around and make a Formula 1 car. It's getting pretty tasty between them in that fight at the moment for the final points position, and Harvey Cohen probably already as, I think Pookie's just clipped the wall coming through to back there. Definitely saw a bit of, smoke from the tyre rubbing on the Armco barrier, but looks like he's got away with one, and Carter Lundy with no pace at all. I mean, everyone on the hard's not doing fantastically well as Harvey Cohen does come into the pits a lap after Jack West, so he'll also be going for that set of the hard tyres. We'll see what sort of pit stop this is going to be from the Williams boys. Hard tyres going on, and you'd expect him to come out. Well, it's going to be pretty close between him and Jack West, because of course West had that lap on the hard tyres. He'll have had to go a slight bit longer, and that's not ideal whatsoever. And Harvey Cohen is going to come out. It's going to be very tight on the exit between himself and Jack West here, and West just gets it done with the extra temperature in his tyres. So it shows you one lap undercut. There's not really any advantage. It'll pretty much be as you were, and that's something to keep an eye on later on in this race. And I am still keeping an eye on Joseph Lowe, because he's looking very racy on the back of Matthew Alder. Briefly got alongside, but as it was in race number 1, he's stuck behind a car that he's faster than. Can't quite force the gap.
Yeah, Joseph Lowe has plenty of pace in that Alfa Romeo, but then I suspect that everybody has got pace. They just simply cannot utilise not least of all East Pookie behind Carter Lundy. Carter seems to be really off the pace. Now, whether that's due to the tyres or whatever is going on in the McLaren, East Pookie has got pace. He is itching to deploy as Dempsey and McLeodchich and Loke all into the pit. That's, again, probably just getting onto the hard tyres and giving themselves some breathing space. There's probably plenty of meat left in the medium tyres as Joseph Loke has to queue behind Drake Dempsey. Because by the time he realised that the pit lane was in use, it was too late. He was already in the pit lane. So that's costing Joseph Loke even more time.
Yeah, it's never rains but it pours for Joseph Loke. Obviously, probably one of the drivers to lose the most out of all of that restart. And yeah, it's going to cost him dearly at the moment. And just looking at the gap between leader and these cars, the Lundy train is already 15 seconds off the lead of this race. Not too long. Duncan Hoffland might be able to pit and come out ahead of these guys. And that is going to be, simply sumptuous for Hoffland at the moment with that 4.7 second lead that he has in this race. Feather's not really been able to get close enough to Tybard to ever look like challenging him. And likewise with Akinci, Wiesel and Fassi, it all seems to have just stayed where they are. Will Lewis not doing a bad lap on the, not doing bad pace on the hard tyres at the moment. He's just staying on the back of this train as well. And as things finish if things finish now with the point situation, I believe that would be Lewis tying on points with Ika Baena. As I knew as soon as we swapped away, something would happen. Side by side between Pookie and Lundy, coming up the hill. Lundy's on the outside line for Massaday. That's going to give him the inside line, of course. But Casino, there's contact. Pookie in the barriers. Just had the feeling that was sort of inevitable.
That started down a sand of art. They were side by side. The Ferrari did mention nose ahead of the McLaren, and that carried on all the way up through to Casino as we saw. And well, you say it was inevitable. It's certainly the more expected outcome of your side by side in Monaco. But we saw in the first attempt at running this race, we had, I've forgotten who they were, but two cars side by side from pretty much Casino right the way down through and down to Portier. So it can be done, just not very commonly, not very common or very comfortably.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not comfortably now. Istvan Pookie, he's dropped a long, long way down the order. A big winner out of that one again. It's going to be Duncan Hoffland. It's now 18 seconds between first and 10th place at the moment, so it really won't be too long before Hoffland is going to be able to come into the pit and still come out ahead of these guys. And somehow, it looks like Lundy's got away without any major damage on his car. The major end plates, everything looks to be in a pretty decent place. But yeah, could have definitely picked up a bit of floor damage or side pod damage, and that is going to absolutely kill his pace. He's got Koya, Baena and Older on the back of him now. But again, back towards the lead, heading into the chicane, the Nouveau chicane, nice and comfortably. Duncan Hoffland with a 5.3 second lead. Everything just seems to be going his way. He's just got to keep his concentration at the moment and, not relax, because we know what this circuit can do. Can bite in an instant.
Absolutely true. As, again, still plenty of cars very, very close to one another. Ika Baena nearly into the back of Daniel Koya, and Matthew Alder nearly joining him as well in the Mercedes. The Haas nailed to the back of the Alpha Tauri as they're coming out of the Ferrari Lucheron now into Raskas. They are also behind the Lundy wagon, the Carter trail going on at the moment as they come over the line. I wonder what it is, whether this Carter is carrying damage that he was doing so before the impact with the Ferrari. Whatever it is that's causing Carter to really struggle, it is, of course, holding everybody up behind him, and now 9.3 seconds separates him and Caden Lewis. So it's not a great run for Carter at the moment, and that's going to lead to much more frustration behind the Canadian.
I mean, yeah, we see most races where at this point in the race the entire field is much closer than 20 seconds from first to last. Well, that is going to be in a few seconds' time. The gap between Hoffland and London, 19.7 at the moment. We did see Duncan Hoffland there have a slight moment a lap or so ago coming out of Tabac, just proving our point that you need to be concentrating at every single moment because you never know what would happen. I wonder whether Daniel Koya is going to maybe be a bit more coy about going for an overtake on Carter London here, because he knows what could end up happening as Joseph Loke has worked his way fast Primož Miklavčić, so that is low up in towards 17th place. And I'm just trying to see on Miklavčić's car if he's got any damage. Didn't look like it, so Joseph Lowe up in towards 17th. His next target will be his teammate. He does have that time penalty, so it'll be interesting to see whether Drake Dempsey gets out of the way of Joseph Lowe and perhaps allows, arguably, you could easily say the faster of the two Alfa Romeos to break away. But I think Boulin Feather has made a mistake here, because all of a sudden, Valentin Theivel's got a bit of a gap, and Akinci, Wiesel, Fassi, Lewis, and Soriano and Lutz are right on the back of the Mercedes.
Yeah, all crawling over one another, aren't they? As, oh dear, that's trouble for Boulin. That's him out of the session. The car's still still going, sorry. It will, of course, go. As that is Dempsey. Dempsey's into the wall. Casino, by the look of it, Casino's claimed another victim. How many cars have we seen die at that spot?
I mean, maybe that's going to be the prize if you win the one on Bandit. You might be able to get yourself a nice little piece of Formula 1 car, the way things are going at the moment, because they're going to have plenty down at the Monte Carlo Casino down there as Ferrer drops down the field. No fault of his own. Well, yeah, no safety car around here. Safety car around Monaco definitely does not seem to be a thing. I think Bernd Mailand is enjoying himself on one of the yachts at the moment. So that is Drake Dempsey. Another retirement for him this season. Has not been the start he would have wanted to his F2 season after moving up last season from F3. And in the odd race that he did last season, did actually manage to pick up a podium at Saudi Arabia. But for whatever reason, 6 points only so far, not the return he would have wanted, as that's an interesting one. Ika Baena into the pits at the end of lap 11. He's going for a set of the mediums.
Very different strategy then for the Haas, as Baulam's car continues to drop through the field and will continue to do so unless he can regain control of it. So that puts Wiesel in a position where he's going to have to push to gain on Akinci. And he's dragging Ismail Fassi with him, so that's going to be quite an interesting circumstance up top. Is he going to push? Is he going to remain where he is? I mean, it would probably do him well to try and close that down. We will see. As it was a game crash for Boulin Ferrar, so that's why he's unfortunately out of the session at the moment. As the Ferrari now of Soriano is in, and that's a new front wing as well for him. Carter Lundy is in, which I'm sure several drivers will probably be quite pleased about, as he has been really struggling. And that is a new front wing on Carter's car, so he has been carrying damage leading up to this point.
Yeah, I think it's unsurprising that Carter did have the damage, and I suppose it's good news for him that whatever damage he's had, he's been able to fix it. As there comes Mirko Soriano behind Joseph Lowe as well, so that might be one to watch out for. Where's he going to be relative to Primož Miklavčić? Miklavčić has got the warmer tyres at the moment. I think those mediums should heat up sooner rather than later. Mirko Soriano comes out in 14th place. You can see who has done a pit stop at the moment. Jack West is leading out of those that has done a pit stop, as Caden Lott, down the inside on the run down towards the chicane, the Alpine, all of a sudden gets himself towards 6th place. And I wonder if Will Lewis has had a moment, because he also has dropped a long way down the order.
I would comment, but my game's just crashed. that's actually the first time I've ever had that happen to me. I must be honest, but yeah, now I'm having to go through the reconnection process.
Oh, it's boding well for everyone. Yeah, Drake Dempsey were here and clicked the wall coming through turn number 4, and that, yeah, just coming through the casino. Light little tap with the wall. Seems to have had massive consequences for him. Akinci in, Wiesel in as well. We'll see where these come out relative to those that have pitted. They should be comfortably clear in the end. So Akinci back out on the circuit now on his set of the hard tyres. Jack West has come out ahead of his teammate Will Lewis, and West is pushing hard at the moment. So that's 10th place for Jack West now all of a sudden. He does have that time penalty. Well, you never know. With all the carnage and chaos that we've seen happening in this race, I would not write off the Welshman of managing to pick up at least 1 point for this race. And a reminder, the point situation here in PSGL is, oh, that's a big one. Joseph Lowe out of the race. That is also coming through Casino. We've got another car added towards the race. That is Joseph Lowe out of the race. That's both Alfa Romeos out at Casino. That also, more than likely, will not be a safety car, so don't expect to see anyone reacting to that one, as thankfully Chris is back in the session just in time to see Ismail Fassi picked from what was 3rd place.
Yes, rejoining now, so I can get back in with the action. Oh dear, another one falls by the wayside then, as Joseph has now left the session. Ismail Fassi, as you say, in or just going through the pits, now on hard tyres. Field spreading out just a little, but we'll see how that condenses up, or if it condenses up. Duncan Hoffland is... oh no, Will's out again! Will is out of the race again. Where's he done it this time?
In the pits, I think.
Oh, has he? Yeah, it looks like he has actually parked it this time, as opposed to crashed it. So, yeah, that is of his own accord. So my instant worry was, oh no, not again. With I was expecting migrating host to appear, but no, that is by choice, not by accident, essentially. So the top 6 yet to see the pit lane. That lead. Oh no, just as I say that, Duncan Hoffman is in. So a fresh set of hards for him, and that should see him through to the end. As Farrar, unfortunately, hasn't been able to rejoin. And that's now Miklavcic out. That's a car I was looking forward to seeing. And that's at the bottom of Mirabeau. How the hell has he managed that?
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got to go some to build enough speed up, I think, to retire at that point of the circuit. His car, unfortunately, has disappeared, so we won't quite know what he's done. Yellow flag there. It's just flying as Will Lewis's AI car parks its way off, coming into Mirabeau. Yeah, that is a weird place to see a retirement in league racing. So Primoz Miklavcic out of this race. We are down to just 16 runners after his pit stop. Duncan Hovland is drifting his Aston Martin around the streets of Monaco. Just seems like a pretty good car to be driving around Monaco, to be perfectly honest. The Aston Martin, it just feels right. He's clearly trying to get some temperature in those hard tyres. 24 laps, he's going to have to take them. He'll be hoping that he can just keep things nice and clean and claim his first victory of the season and really get himself back into the title hunt. He finished 4th in F2 last season, so the highest placed driver not to earn that promotion in towards F1. This could be the race where his championship hunt, with championship challenge, really gets kick-started. Ismail Fassi on the back of Boualem Ferrer's AI car, so that'll be nice and straightforward for him to take towards that 7th place. Fassi at the moment on for, just trying to look, Fassi at the moment, as things stand, potentially on for a podium. I mean, we think we know we're not going to get a safety car, but if we do end up getting a safety car, Divard and Caden Lutz are going to be sitting pretty.
I mean, by the look of it, you'll need someone sideways across the track for the safety car to actually pay attention. But either way, Koya, Alda, Akinci, all very, very close together. But that's because Akinci has pitted and the two ahead of him have not. So now the McLaren is stuck in a position where he's essentially what he's inflicted to others for a number of races. That's Thevard now that's had trouble from the lead of the race. Oh no! Trouble for the race leader, Valentin Thevard, has left the session, as that's a penalty for Zeller. Oh my goodness, what craziness are we going to face next?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, it's not been the case with Fabber. It wasn't the case with Lewis earlier, but I'm hoping, seeing as you were able to rejoin Chris, I'm hoping Valentin Thevard's able to rejoin. He's not really in too bad of a situation at the moment, and you never know, might have had that opportunity of getting a podium, especially because Koya and Alder are doing a fantastic job of holding up Akinci, and another driver who's winning out of this is Ismail Fassi. Not too long ago, he was about 3 seconds behind Jan Akinci. He's now on the back of this DRS train, so this is going to get pretty interesting in the battle for what looks like it is going to be a net 2nd place in this race. It's Divard's AI car that is leading. Caden Lutz closing in fast, and Duncan Hoffman also closing in fast on them. Boualem Ferrer, the AI, deciding that 17 laps is as many as you want to do on the medium tyres, so he comes in now for a set of the hards. What could have been him for him as well? He's disconnected. Divard is disconnected. The French have, the French have had a really tough day at what is effectively one of their home races.
Yeah, absolutely so. Monaco bordering France, so it's one of these tracks. I don't know. Does anybody want to admit that this is their home circuit? Well, yeah, we'll see. I'm not opening that particular can of worms. Lucas Soriano has found his own roadblock in the form of Harvey Cohen. The Williams 12-lap old tyres. Valentin Thevard has been able to rejoin. So our race lead, he's lost some of his lead. There goes Soriano on the inside line coming down to the new chicane. The Williams had to go over the middle of that because here there was no room, and Soriano has given him the position back. But hopefully Thevard Thibaut has taken over his car again, but he's lost quite a bit of the lead that he had over Caden Lute. I mean, Duncan Offlin's closing in quick on them, so you could argue that was all for naught anyway, but that's going to hurt Thibaut then when he goes through the pits.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would have come out, ahead of definitely Wiesel and West, and you never know, maybe ahead of Fassi and Akinci as well with the way things were going. He's now going to come out well behind them. Harvey Cohen gets a time penalty. It's still Soriano side by side through Massenet and Casino. Take your hat off. Mirko Soriano, fantastic job from the Italian there. He gets himself into the points, and he's on the medium tyres as well. You never know what could happen. You never know how much that will be able to help him later on in this race, but thankfully, Valentin Thibaut has been able to rejoin this session. He's in the lead. Caden Lutt in second. Duncan Hoffland in third place. And still, Koya and Alder doing a great job of holding up Chan Akinci and Ismail Fassi. And this could well help Max Wiesel, Jack West, and possibly Soriano and some others later on, depending on how long they go. I mean, if they decide to go, late 20s, early 30s to go for a set of soft tyres, this is going to be an absolute disaster for Akinci and Fassi.
Duncan Offlin now on the back of Caden Lute. He's destroyed the gap to the second place Alpine, as you would expect on fresh tyres. It's working his way past Casino now, down towards Mirabeau. Is he going to be able to find his way? Or, I mean, to be fair, all he really needs to do is just sit there and wait. He doesn't need to force the position. Whereas Harvey Koenig Baena, my goodness me, side by side all the way from Sandoval, all the way through Massenet, bumping, going past the deadly magnetic Casino, and that is a position to Ika Baena on the outside of Casino before he gets down towards Mirabeau. Great move.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about things here, Baena is within 10 seconds of Jack West, so that's a promotion. We've got Thibaut, Lutt, Koya and Alder to pit yet. He could well get ahead of at least two of them, possibly even more, after a qualifying ban. Ika Baena could end up with a top 6 finish at Monaco. That is not a bad performance whatsoever. And I think possibly if he does that as well, we'll still end up retaining the championship lead. He'd have chopped your hands off for that at the start of the race. And Alex Lamorte saying the same thing. It's a Spaniard, like Alonso in 2010, gaining fantastically at Monaco after an issue in qualifying.
Alder now in the pits, medium tyres onto the Mercedes. And where's he going to filter out? He's going to filter out just ahead of Carter Lundy, possibly. Yes, he should appear certainly right with the McLaren. Oh no, Carter's going to have him. So Matthew Walder reappears in 13th then with a a fresh set of medium tyres on the car. But with Duncan Offlin being stuck behind Caden Lute, this is giving Thibaut an opportunity to rebuild the lead, but it's all for naught really, because they've got a pit, and I think Hoffman realizes that he doesn't need to make the move. He's got 10 seconds back to Kuija, who hasn't pitted, so why risk the position and potential penalty for an overtake he doesn't need to do, especially here?
Yeah, we were getting some beautiful shots from the Helicom at the moment, and he doesn't need to make that overtake anymore because Caden Lutt has come into the pits, and that is free air then for Duncan Hoffland, our net race leader at the moment. Caden Lutt into the pits at the end of lap number 21, so it is only Thibaut and Koya that have yet to make their way into the pits, and that is annoying Chan Akinci because he is still all over the back of Daniel Koya, still can't get ahead. Fassi's still getting stuck behind these as well, but Max Wiesel and Jack West and some of the others not gaining as much, and I think they would have certainly hoped to, and we'll see where Caden Lutt comes out of all of this. He's come out ahead of Ika Baena, so in 9th place, 8th place when you take into account Jack West's penalty. Looks like it is going to be the first points of the season for Caden Lutt, if he keeps it clean, touch wood, because around Monaco, that is a big if indeed. It's Thibaut still leading, Hoffland in second, Koya in third. Both the AlphaTauris, though, yet to make their one compulsory pit stop.
Very, very true. As Jack West, despite the fact that he's been on those tyres, those tyres for 17 laps, is actually hustling Max Wiesel quite hard for 6th position. So, as the Aston makes a mistake coming into the chicane, has to go over the apexes as Thibaut is brought his AlphaTauri in. Kuija is far enough back that he doesn't need to. He could come in now and he won't double stack behind his teammate, but he opts not to. He chooses to continue at this point, so Duncan Hoffman re-inherits the lead. Where is Thibaut going to reappear? Looks like he's going to be fifth, beg your pardon. Yep, he'll be back up to speed before Wiesel and West and Siriano catch him. Jack West, he's just bounced off the wall coming out of Saint-Devote in the Red Bull. So Jack West, as much as he's trying to push, isn't gaining anything at the moment.
Yeah, and he knows he's got to try and make some moves, because as things stand at the moment, he would drop behind Harvey Cohen. Even with Harvey, well, actually, no, Harvey's got 6 seconds of penalties, so he would stay ahead of him. So Jack West is currently on for a point, but that could all change later on as his tyres maybe start wearing. Will we see Lundy and Older gain some time as well? Older's just set the fastest lap of the race, still waiting for his first points of the season. The man who won from 14th here in PSF1 in season 30. The last time we went to the Monaco circuit. In the lead of the race, so as Max Wiesel now picks up a 3-second time penalty. It is his teammate, it is Duncan Hofland, as we come on to lap 24. 12.6 second lead. I know there's been, interesting circumstances in this race with the restart and the start of this race, but have you ever seen in a league race a man just look this dominant? As Max Wiesel, he must have damage, he's back into the pits.
Yep. And that was a penalty he just scored himself as well. So that's a new wing for Max Wiesel. He's dropped himself very much out of contention. Oh, is Chanakinji trying to get alongside Daniel Cuijo. He doesn't want to stay behind the AlphaTauri any longer. And doesn't make them... Well, you can't really make a move at the top of Mirabeau. He's still hustling hard. He's got Ismail Farsi and Valentin Thibard right behind them. The biggest danger in that lot is the second AlphaTauri, the former race leader. Fresh medium tyres on the car. He's got the best opportunity to try and make up some time. Caden Lute as well with Marcus Ariano and Jack West. Now they're not going to wait for the race to finish for Jack's penalty to kick in. They'll want to get past him all the same. So, that's trouble for Caden Lute. Just as I mentioned his name, him and I think possibly Harvey Cohen have come together at the chicane. That's another one on the commentator curse count for me.
Yeah, I thought we saw an overtake there, but it's actually Daniel Koya coming into the pit. So, yeah, the position's changed before it said pit next to the end of his name. Maybe just getting a bit too excited there, as I think Lutz was very close to Baena, so I wonder whether anything's happened between the two of them. But Lutz, he's dropped some positions, but it's not really going to cost him too much with Harvey Cohen having a penalty at the moment. And thankfully for him, looks like the majority of his front wing is in the right place as Daniel Koya comes out onto the circuit in a very lonely 12th place. Matthew Older gets a fantastic run on Carter Lundy. You don't see a switchback out of Saint-Devote too often, and that is Matthew Older on for his first points of the season, as long as he can just keep it clean in the remaining 14 laps. It's a fantastic move there by Matthew Older. Those medium tyres starting to look pretty second-hand on Lundy's car. It has certainly not been his day. The big battle to watch out for at the moment is this man, Chad Akinci, in second place, Ismail Fassi in third, Valentin Thibard on the better tyres in fourth place. But we saw from the start of the race, better tyres, fresher tyres, means basically nothing around here.
Matt Older could potentially gain another few positions as Caden Lute and Harvey Cohen continue to argue side by side through the swimming pool. And it's Caden Lute in the Alpine that's just about one out on that one at the moment. But if Older can get on with it, he could gain another two here. He'll gain one from Cohen. He could potentially gain, now that Caden Lute's got a penalty on the board, that could be 8th for the Mercedes.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. Get your abacuses out at the end of this race, everyone. I think we are going to need it. Valentin Thibard all over the back of Ismail Fassi at the moment. He's burnt up his battery coming up the hill to try and get the overtake done, and Ismail has got the best battery of anyone in this second, third and fourth place battle at the moment. So we're looking fascinating, looking as though Ismail is on for his third podium of the season. If it wasn't for, weather and bad luck last time out, we might have, of course, got a podium in every single race. And let's not forget, it was Fassi ahead of Akinci in second place last time out, when Akinci went into the back of the Spaniard and really ruined his race and gave the McLaren driver a 10-second penalty for that one. Hofland leads, though, by 15.6 seconds now. He's out of Saint-Devote before these guys have even got into Rascasse. It's Akinci in second, Fassi in third place. It's Carter Lundy dropping down the field again. That is Daniel Koya up in towards 11th, as now Max Wiesel makes a move using those better tyres. He's in towards 14th.
Yeah, there was, he had to kind of get his elbows out, but now that he's gone past Carter, as Carter and Isran Pookie come together, just coming through Raskas. That's no harm, no foul on either car, but that's basically given Janet Quija a quick run to some breathing space. 5.6 seconds to close in, 12 and a half laps to do it before he starts to hassle Matt Alder in 10th place, who has got the back of Harvey Cohen. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. If he can get past the Williams, then he can start to...
Sorry to interrupt. Pookie
has
sent it. I think he was still in France when he decided to go for that move on the brakes on into Mirabeau there. And now, let's not forget, these two had a bit of a coming together earlier on as well at Massenet and Casino Square, and I'm wondering whether that was a bit of afters for Mr. Van Pookie, but the upshot of it is he's got no front wing, Carter Lundy's lost places, and Max Wiesel is up into 12. Carnage befalls PC F2 once again. Pookie was never getting that one stopped, throwing the anchors on no matter what. There was no way he was going to make that move work. Alder has got ahead of Cohen, so he's now up into 9th place. We've also got Suviano all over the back of Jack West, and the Fassi Thaibod battle has given Akinci a bit of breathing room.
A little bit, but if Thivar can make his way past the Spaniard, that won't last long at all, as Zeller is in the pits after being on those tyres for 25 laps, so those hard tyres have absolutely had it. And medium tyres for the Alpine, away he goes. He'll reappear still in 15th, I think. Oh, yeah, because Bowell Emmons goes to Disney. So Soriano getting close to the Red Bull. Things about the inside maneuver coming down into the chicane, but can't get it done. Despite the fact that his tyres are a bit softer, they still won't give him the traction he needs at the crucial moment. But Matt Alder, having made a pretty concise move on Harvey Cohen a lap ago, is now chasing off after Caden Lute. That's not going to be an easy gap to close down. Both of them on relatively fresh medium tyres. Unless Caden closes in on Ika Baena and they start to scrap. But Matt Alder still has the opportunity to gain a few more positions here when the penalties fall, as you say, when the abacus work is dealt with. But Soriano is still arguing with Jack West.
Yeah, he is, and I feel like there's going to be a lot more arguing going on between the two of them. Soriano, as you can see, he has 3 seconds of time penalties. 11 laps to go. He needs to make this move, I'd say, in the next couple of laps to really try and break away. And, well, I say break away and get that 3-second gap, of course. West's got a 10-second penalty, but at the moment, Soriano might be coming under pressure from Ika Baena, who all of a sudden isn't looking too bad for a top 5 finish. Soriano and West, both of them, flipping on their ERS as they come out of the tunnel. Not close enough at all this time around. We're hearing that Thaibon might have had a little tap with the wall earlier on. He's certainly not harassing Fassi as much as he was doing a few laps ago. Right up there, we are getting confirmed that he's got some damage to that front left-hand side of his car, but should be able to hold on for 4th place as things are going. Certainly not holding on. Duncan Hoffland, he's just cruising at the moment. 16.7 seconds in the lead of this race. It's been a dominant performance so far from the Dutchman.
Isran Pookie is still circulating with no front wing. He and Carter Lundy are still squabbling for a non-points paying position.
Oh, God. I mean, I think it was 1982 Monaco Grand Prix. So many cars had crashes. I'm sure we had cars driving around with no front and rear wings back in the old ground effect days where, they sucked down to the ground so powerful that the wings didn't really do much, as I thought Akinci was going to throw one up the inside there. I think we might want to go away from this before it gets its way into towards Sandoval. I mean, it's so... I mean, I was going to say it's like seeing a car crash happening. You should look away, but there's a little bit of you wants to turn around.
There's fascinated and wants to watch it.
Like, you sort of know something's going to happen here. Where something else could still happen, let's not forget. Soriano and West, and Baena and Caden Lutz, they're having their own little battle as well.
Yeah, we've had sort of constant battles somewhere in the field. Some of them uglier than others, if we're entirely honest. But again, that's not that unexpected when it comes to Monaco. And actually, the more that Pookie and Lundy fight, that brings Christoph Zeller into that argument. I'm fascinated with that. As you say, the morbid curiosity is strong with this one. Of course, Christoph Zeller's just pitted. I'm going to keep an eye on that. You keep an eye on the rest of the field. I'll keep an eye on what's going on here. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, Carter's nearly in the wall. And Christoph Zeller parted the waves perfectly in between the pair of them. Pookie and Lundy came together on the exit of the chicane. The McLaren's still behind the Ferrari, and Christoph Zeller saw the gap and went, "You carry on, I'm off." That was a great move.
Yeah, you do what you want, he's pretty much saying. I'm going to try and cope and get way ahead as Daniel Coyer and Harvey Cohen side by side through the hairpin on the fresher tyres. That is the Alpha Telwick back in towards the top 10 place as he tries to work his way up the order. Valentin Thibord, he's now got a free second time penalty, so we'll wait and see. What could happen here. This is going to be a very interesting race. I seem to think on this one. Carter Lundy, yeah, still on the back of Istvan Pukki, who now looks like he is disconnected here, and that is Duncan Hoffland. He'll be glad. Oh, he's not disconnected. Of course, they're ghosting because Duncan is now driving through them. He is a lap ahead of all of these people. Chanakinchi, 17 seconds behind Duncan Hoffland at the moment. Ismail Fassi in third place. Valentin Thibord in fourth. Now, he's got to be careful. It's always one of those things that can happen around here. You know, I mean, you can see it's not a bit of damage. I mean, they said the left front had some damage. That's big damage to the right end plate, which is completely missing here. So, Valentin Thibord, he could be struggling in the last few laps, and you never know. West and Soriano could be catching up soon.
Yeah, that won't help because, of course, he wants to stay far enough ahead that 3-second penalty won't mean anything. It won't mean anything for Jack because, of course, Jack is carrying that 10-race penalty. 10 race? That's severe. 10-second penalty rather, but you want to stay ahead of Mirko Soriano's. So, oh, mind you, Mirko's got his own penalty, hasn't he? So no, never mind. They'd have to do that on track anyway. And whoa, Thibord, huge. He drifted around Raskas there. As Lundy has finally managed to displace the Ferrari. Oh, has he? Still squabbling. They're still side by side into Mirabeau. We're all kick-started between these two several laps ago. The Ferrari is determined to stay ahead of the McLaren. I guess they're having some fun down there, but it's not going well for them as Harvey Cohen has brought the Williams into the pits for assumedly the final time. Zeller gets another warning, another penalty on the board.
Yeah, I think Harvey Cohen, he's just coming in for the fastest lap at the moment, going on a set of soft tyres. You know, he's not going to gain anything from this. He's not going to be finishing in the top 10, so there won't be any fastest lap point going for him. But yeah, he's just enjoying himself and seeing if he can take that. I think the fastest lap might currently, if we just have a look. Yeah, Christoph Scheller's got it at the moment, so not really taking any points off of anyone in this one. Jack West holding on towards 5th place at the moment, but does have that time penalty. Caden Lutz still on the back of Ika Baena, and Matthew Alder has been able to join them as well, and he's got much fresher tyres, number 2 ahead of him. So I think this is going to be another one to keep an eye on in the final few laps. Baena versus Lutz, who does have a penalty, versus Matthew Alder. Now, Ika Baena, is he going to be a bit careful in this one? Because, you know, he's got a championship to think about. Lutz and Alder probably already haven't. So I feel like if Alder starts sending some moves here, might be wiser if Baena gets out of the way. Not suggesting, though, that will necessarily be what he does. And you've also, right at the front, Ismail Fassi is onto the back of Chanakinchi again for 2nd and 3rd.
Wow. How have all these battles just continued to loiter? That is absolutely amazing stuff. So what can Alder do then? 3-car battle then for 7th place. What will become a battle for 6th when Jack's penalty is applied. We've got 5 laps to go. Blink and you'll miss something. We knew we were on for a somewhat chaotic race, but oh my goodness me, there was no way you could have anticipated what's going on here. And the battle between Pukki and Lundy continues to rage on as they've now got that's Matt Alder, I think. It might be Bowlem. Bowlem's ghost actually coming up to the back of them. Yeah,
that's such a shame as well. Let's not forget, what could he have done if he'd got involved in this race? Oh, Valentin Thibord is into the pits. He's decided he's struggling too much. I mean, has he took off more of his front wing that we've missed. But Valentin Thibard has come into the pits. He's got a fresh set of the soft tyres, but he drops all the way down to 11th place after that disconnect earlier. Things going from bad to worse for Thibard. Such a shame after what was such a promising, first stint of this race. He comes out in 11th, a long way behind Wiesel, but he will gain so much time on that fresh set of the soft tyres. Kinchi still just hanging on ahead of Fassi at the moment. West hanging on from Mirko Subiano. Baena looked and Older as well. They've got their own battle, and could we see here Caden Lutz? He's got a bit more EMS than Ika Baena. He's got a bit of a gap on the inside as well. Down the inside goes to Finn. Caden Lutz takes 6th position. Now we'll see if on those fresher tyres he can break away by the necessary 3 seconds in the final 3 laps.
How on earth did he slow that down? That was so late on the brakes from Caden Lute. Nicely done. Carter Lundy finally has brought his car into the pits, bringing an end to what was quite a bizarre situation down there in 14th place. Older inside line of Ika Baena. A very straightforward move into Sandoval. I think Ika Baena realised he couldn't defend it, and the Mercedes is through, staying right with Caden then. Final 4 laps of the race. Can Caden Lute close in on Mirko Siriano? That's going to be the next battle. But again, as long as Older, where did he finish? He was on the podium, wasn't he? Or did he? No. Did he win it last time? You were mentioning.
Yeah, he won from 14th around here. He pulled off a fantastic, I think it was an overcut strategy when Ismail Fassi got stuck in traffic. A bit like what we saw happen to himself and Jana Kinchi here today. If Fassi got stuck in traffic, Older stayed out longer on a fresh set of tyres because of what the qualifying rule was back on F1 2021, and was able to come out brilliantly and take what I believe was his 2nd victory out of 3 in a row at the start of that season. Really did dominate the start of season 30 there. Pookie is Istvan Pukki's on his way into the pit, so he's also going for that fastest lap now, and he's in fact not going for the fastest lap. He decided to stay in the pit, so Pukki is out of this race. We are down to, with Feathers being disconnected, effectively 14 drivers in this race. Duncan Hoffman leads with 2.5 laps to go. Kinchi in 2nd, Fassi in 3rd, and Daniel Koya also works his way past Ika Baena, as does Max Wiesel. Has Baena got a puncture, or has Baena got some damage?
Baena got a bit of a punch in the face from Koya. They were side by side, and impact was made as they went through Sandoval. So the Spaniard was somewhat displaced, and Max Wiesel was close enough to capitalise on it.
Yeah, it's front wing damage. Front left end plate completely missing on Ika Baena's car, so he's going to come under some pressure from Valentin Thibard very soon as well. Is Ika Baena, after one point looking like he might be able to get a top 5 finish in this race, is he even going to end up getting any points? It has really fallen apart in the final few laps for him all of a sudden, and Thibard will be catching up hand over fist. Lutz and Older not catching up to the back of Subiano at the rate of knots that they would have liked to, as Lundy picks up a time penalty there. And also you've got Kinchi and Fassi still having their battle as they come onto the penultimate lap of this race. It is all catching up, well, it's all kicking off. And there we go, Ika Baena, I think wisely, had decided to back off. So that is Valentin Thibard back in towards 10th for now. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens with all the penalties. And of course, Jack's got his 10 seconds, which could potentially drop him all the way behind Max Wiesel. There is going to be a lot to work out later on. Matthew Older, though, looking very racy on the back of Caden Lutz. And if these two start battling too much, Daniel Koya and Max Wiesel might also be able to get involved.
Yeah, there's still plenty of twists and turns in this tale yet. We'll see how, well, for everyone other than Duncan Hoffman. He's had nothing to worry about all night. Doesn't matter which version of this race we ran, he was in very good form at the Principality. He's been untouchable all night long, as Ika Baena's had enough. His car was still running, so Ika Baena has now also disconnected. His car circulating in 11th place. Oh my days. Final lap of the race. Siriano has gotten past Jack West because Jack is in trouble.
Has Jack West? He has. Front right puncture. Jack West has done so well in this race. The front right tyre gets a puncture and possible points fly out of the window for the Red Bull man. So frustrating. He tried to stretch them. 33 laps. That is so unlucky around here. He retires from the race. He leaves the session. All that driving, all that performance after the qualifying ban, the 10-second penalty, the disconnect, all for naught as Ika Baena now comes into the pits. This is going to promote, well, he's disconnected, of course, so that's going to promote Harvey Cohen's car into the points anyway while all this is happening. Ismail Fassi, he's dropped further back from Janakinchi, but around the final corner, while all that is coming off, Duncan Hoffland crosses the line to take victory here at Monaco. It is a win for Duncan Hoffland. Now we've got a long, long wait for Janakinchi to come home and claim his best result of the season in second, with another podium for Ismail Fassi in third place. And I tell you what, Caden Lott and Matthew Older on this final lap, they are really catching up to the back of Mirko Suriano.
Yeah, they absolutely have, but Koya and Wiesel are there as well. Older can't just concentrate on ahead. He just needs to make sure that Danny Koya, doesn't make a banzai move somewhere. I think he's wise to that one. So that is second for Akinci, third for Fassi, fourth for Older, fifth for Koya, sixth Suriano, 7 Lute, 8 Wiesel, 9 Thievad, and 10th is looking set to go to Harvey Cohen. This is before Stewart's intervention. Oh dear, I'm not even attempting to read into that.
I think to be fair, out of those that have scored the points, I'm not sure there's been too much controversy. Maybe, it looked like there might have been a tap between Koya and Ismail and Ika Baena, but I think out of those that have scored the points, they had fairly clean races. Out of those outside the points, yeah, maybe the less said about that, the better. Matthew Older gets the in-game driver of the day after crushing in qualifying. A fantastic performance to come home and claim, I think in the end, it was 4th place. But we have got our 4th different winner from the first 5 races of season 32. And it is Duncan Hoffland, really showing that he belongs in this tier, as we know, and putting on a fantastic performance to all of a sudden jump up to the top 4 in the championship. Janakinchi in 2nd place, Ismail Fassi in 3rd, and after all of the things that have happened in that race, I think Ika Baena is still leading the championship. So we'll go through the provisional standings, and they are very provisional indeed. Duncan Hoffland taking the victory. I think that one we can say with some certainty. Akinci in 2nd, Fassi 3rd, Older, Koya, Suriano, Lutz, Wiesel, Thievad getting the bonus point for the fastest lap. What could have been for him as he comes home in 9th place. Harvey Cohen in 10th place. Scheller in 11th. Baena and Feather disconnected. Carter Lundy, he had many issues. Jack West had the puncture at the end. Pookie, Miklevcic, Lewis, Loke and Dempsey, the drivers who were not finishing in that one. I mean, we got there eventually, but for the win, well, they could have called it after lap 1. Duncan Hoffland broke away. Joseph Loke had that drive-through penalty. No one really looked close to a Dutchman.
No, indeed not. But from 19th to 4th at Monaco, wow. Matt Older, take a bow. You have every reason to be pleased with that.
And just keeping it clean, I think as well. I think just keeping it clean, perhaps the most important thing, because we saw so many penalties for so many different people, and he was he was in that sort of battle earlier on where they were holding some of the other cars up, not intentionally, but this is Monaco. This is one of the few circuits where you can try that hold-up strat, because it can really come good at the end of the race. We saw how much better his tyres were.
Yeah, and like you said, just keeping it clean is always the most important part of the entire day at Monaco. I'm trying to keep up with the chat as well. That's what suddenly caused me to be quiet. But will we have a chance to speak to some people?
It looks like we will. We have got a couple of people making their way in towards the chat room, so we'll try to drag them in to the commentary box. And we are going to start with the man who finished in the 2nd place, Janakinchi. You had to work hard for that 2nd place there. Isma started putting you under quite a lot of pressure at the end.
No, I actually didn't have to work hard, but yeah, he was quick, of course, as always, and Duncan was just unreachable pace. I mean, I'm happy with the result. That was the best I can do probably in this situation, and probably in the series. And yeah, it was good points.
Yeah, tell us how frustrating it is because you spent quite a lot of time stuck behind cars that didn't, you know, that hadn't pitted yet. Were you tempted to go for the moves, or were you just being patient and waiting for them to come into the pits?
Yeah, I wanted to put a car between me and Ismail because I knew he was quick around here, and my plan didn't work out. But I mean, impossible to
You see.
this track was impossible to overtake. I mean, Valentin couldn't do any moves on us because like we were getting good exits in last corner and it was literally impossible to do a move. I tried a few things that moves were risky, but I went for it anyway, but it didn't work out.
That's another podium for you this season. Jan obviously came close to a podium last time out before all the drama that happened in Canada. Do you think you can possibly take a victory in the 6 races left this season?
I don't think so. These guys are quick. I mean, I don't think that I'm capable of winning in this league right now.
You never know what could happen, especially after a crazy race like today. But congratulations, Jan, on your second
Thank
place.
you. Congrats on the podium as well.
And next up, we'll take in the man who finished in third place, Ismail Fassi. And Chris, why don't you take us through this one?
Ishmael, so taking over the championship lead from Canada. It's been quite a crazy night. How's it feel from your side? How are you feeling after that?
To be honest, I mean, a podium from P7, it's an amazing result for me. I was lucky though because Bowen he disconnected from the session. Also, Valentin. So yeah, I'm very happy that I finished third behind Can. He was fast, super fast. I mean, even with I couldn't be like 3 tenths behind him just to try something. He was just fast. Same with Duncan. He was on another on another planet. He won by 20 seconds. That's crazy. And yeah, I think Baina got taken out in the penultimate lap. So it's good for me though to catch him on the championship. I think if I don't get any penalty, I will be 3 points behind him. So yeah, I'm very happy with the result.
I imagine so. When we're at Silverstone next time around, so hopefully a bit less craziness that we've had tonight. How does the home of British motorsport suit you? Is it a track you enjoy?
Yeah, it's well, Silverstone is a track. It's a beautiful track, but it's also another track where trains, when you're in a DRS train, it's so difficult to overtake. Not like in other tracks, but yeah, I will give my best. I hope that I take my first win, and yeah, we move on.
Absolutely, so great stuff, and we look forward to seeing you here. Thank you very much, Ishmael Farsi.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And last but certainly no means least, a man who had probably the quietest evening of everyone out there. It is Duncan Hoffland. I mean, obviously, a great qualifying from yourself, but I think even you would not have expected to win that race by 20 seconds.
No, I absolutely didn't. Thanks for the congratulations. Yeah, I mean, I was already a bit surprised about qualifying. It's weird for me to start on pole position, so it was the first time. And then, yeah, it basically went perfect. Starting on the mediums and then having a gap to the rest of the field, and basically strategy was perfect. And then at the end, still managed to get a bigger of a gap, almost 20 seconds. So yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, is that because you'd seen the pace of like Joseph Loke on the mediums in the first race and you thought, you know what, if I start on the mediums here, get a good run, I might be able to break away? Is that why you changed from the hards to the mediums on the restart?
Well, it was actually because of the strategy. I saw that Joseph pitted quite early, and in the first race, I had to react on that, and I still came out ahead of him, so that was fine. But it was a bit too close for what I saw, so I preferred to do the same strategy as him, and then make sure to stay ahead of him. Also with the strategy. So yeah, that was why I didn't make that decision.
Yeah, I think by the time we saw that happening in race number 1, there were cars driving through each other. So I think we'd given up by that point. You've had, 2 podiums in the last 3 races. You're up to 30 points all of a sudden. Things looking pretty good. How are you feeling heading into Silverstone in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, Silverstone is always fun. I mean, you are pretty close to each other in a train, but especially the final 3-4 laps, it's always going to be chaos. So everyone's going to start blasting the ERS because you're saving a lot there. So yeah, it will all come down on the final lap at Silverstone.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting race there. Congratulations, though, on the victory today. Your race winner, Duncan Hoffland.
Thanks, guys.
And that, after 2 hours and 7 minutes, I think we knew Monaco was going to be a long one. I don't think we quite expected it to be that long, though. that one is over, and I imagine everyone in the points just got a bit of a sense of relief from that race.
Yeah, that was the most welcome checkered flag I think our drivers have seen. But we move into the break now, so it'll be a few weeks before we get to the home of British motorsport. But Silverstone will beckon us back for the continuation of the season, and I can't wait.
Yeah, that should be a fascinating race in 2 weeks' time. We're not here next week, of course, from a PC side of things because of esports, and I'm sure many of the drivers here will be practicing for that and helping out their various teams that they are the development drivers for. If you want some more Monaco action and some more Monaco carnage, there is the rest of the PC tiers tomorrow, and then also lower PlayStation tiers on a Sunday with the top PS tiers on Monday. But PlayStation will be racing again a week on a Monday. We will be back 2 weeks today. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking with us. Thanks also to our sponsors, of course, here at PSGL GT Omega. Use PSGL to get 5% off of their lovely chairs and various other equipment. But for myself and Chris, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.
This broadcast was brought to you by GT Omega, proudly supporting PSGL.